What did you do on Monday, Ben?
Oh, just wandered around my house in my bathrobe.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Calling out, Camilo? Hayden? Jung-hoo? Nobody. I was completely alone, bumbling around in my house that's too big for me, all by myself. And when you're wandering around, you just end up in weird places. And there I was. I found myself in the laundry room. Did you know that they make a room just for washing your clothes?
I did know that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have one of those, and there's like these two machines in there. Anyway, that's not what happened. As I walk in, and then boom, oh, hey Lou, and then I walked out.
Well, he didn't have anything to do. He just came over and did this laundry.
Exactly. So apparently that's what he does. He comes to my house on his off days and does his laundry. Yeah, Matthew, I didn't know what to do on Monday. I didn't know what to do. It was the first time in 17 days that the Giants didn't play a baseball game.
Yeah, I did the same. I woke up in the morning and I felt empty inside, like right away, like something was missing.
It's like when you wake up and you immediately remember that there's no Giants baseball today.
Yeah. So I made a cocktail, called it Logan Webb of my tears, and then promptly gave up 3 runs in the first hour of my day.
Oh, I see. Just like a Giants starting pitcher.
A little foreshadowing there, I guess.
Yeah, foreshadowing indeed.
But yeah, it's 17 days of Giants, and then you go cold turkey. That's a rough way to do it, man.
It was a rough way to do it. And, especially after the high of the Little League walk-off. And side note, my daughter just says to me, oh, you should name your cocktail the Juice Box, because of the Little League home run. And I'm like,
that's genius.
You tell me that now?
Your family does that. I remember your wife did that one time where she gave you a name afterwards. They need to speak up.
Yeah. So they do. They need to come up with these ideas a little bit more promptly.
I will say though, on a Monday without Giants, I got to watch that Little League home run replay like a gazillion times on social media, including like 4 different languages. So it was great. The Korean one was also quite fun to listen to.
Oh, I didn't see the Korean one. I'll have to check that out. What do you think Bob did?
I don't know, Bob. Bob? You okay, Bob?
That would be no. Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the losses hurt, but the cocktails help. Here are your hosts, Finn and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to another episode of Giant Cocktails. Bob, I'm worried about you. This is the first time, we've really felt some sadness from you. And what is this about the losses hurt and the cocktails help? Yeah. This is the first time we've played our losing intro this year. We hoped we wouldn't have to break that out this year, but there it is. And Bob, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're feeling the hurt.
You'll get over it, man. But that is a rough way to come back from your first off day, right? You got the Little League walk-off win, then an off day, which is kind of like, oh, what do I do? And then boom.
Reality hits. All right, Ben. Well, this is episode 288. Bill Miller hit 288 during his Giants career from 1996 to 2002. Bill Miller was a good Giant.
He was a great Giant.
Mark Canha also hit 288 during his illustrious Giants career, but not a great Giant. So I didn't include him. So, Bill Miller. Bill Miller's the one we're celebrating today, 288.
But you did include him. You just literally said his name.
All right. Well.
Did you know that Bill Miller was my new favorite player after Matt Williams?
I do remember that. And it used to bug us when people would call him Mueller.
Yeah, no, that really did bug me. And then he broke his foot fouling a ball off of it, just like Matt Williams did. And that irritated me. And then I was very happy for him when he won a batting title and a World Series. You know, everybody talks about Dave Roberts stealing that base. Dave Roberts this and Dave Roberts that. Blah, 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 blah. Giants top manager. Stolen base, stolen base, stolen base. Bill Miller got the hit. Bill Miller drove him in.
That's right.
To tie the game, to force extras so that they could win game 4 and then sweep the rest of the games and become the first team to win a 7-game series after being down 0-3. That's my Bill Miller story. I'm a big Bill Miller fan. Did you?
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Oh, right. That's right.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I am in a hotel room in St. Louis right now. I'll be honest, the pickings are slim. So I'm drinking what I'm calling a hotel old fashioned. All right. And it's not pretty. It's probably not even good, but that's what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Wow, I'm really looking forward to that recipe, Matthew. Thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Bob, today I am drinking a cocktail that I'm calling a San Diego Margarita. And we'll get into why it's called a San Diego Margarita at the end of the episode. But I kind of don't want to talk about it.
There are reasons. Yeah,
there are reasons. There are reasons. It's basically, it's kind of like getting sand kicked in your face. Except tasty and has booze in it.
Right. All right. Well, folks, today is Wednesday, April 30th, as we record this podcast. The Giants were 0-2 since our last release. 19-12, though. That's only good enough for third in the National League West. We went from first to third in the span of 2 days. We're going to spend some time talking about that. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the Padres series. I will say, Ben, I'm thankful for 2-game series.
Yeah. No, that was enough of that.
Yes,
that was enough of that. I was like, okay.
Can you imagine if this was a 4-game series? How painful this could have been.
Yeah, we went gallivanting in there on our horses. They were high. Our horses were high.
Yes, we were high on our horses. That's for sure.
That's right. Our horses and all of us, we were all baked, and we went in there and nope, more of that, please. Nope.
We need a little bit more time to get better. I think before we play them again, or they need to get worse. I don't know. One of the two. But that's not all we're talking about. We're going to talk about what else are we talking about? Oh, segment 2, guys, is going to be about the starting pitchers. You know, we haven't really given a lot of attention to them, and so we thought we'd do a little deep dive into our starting pitchers and kind of maybe talk about their turnaround or their renaissance or whatever. We're going to break it down.
That's right. They need some love. We've been really hard on them. And so we need to give them some positive vibes. So that's what we're going to do in the second segment.
Yeah. Well, and then a little tidbit though. Did you realize on Tuesday it was Tony Gwynn Day?
I don't know. No, I didn't. As in every day to Tony Gwynn Day.
You would think in San Diego would be
San Diego Padres, but no.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure. Hearing the broadcast, the Padres broadcast when I did the recap on MLB.com, that Tony Gwynn's son was one of the announcers. Tony Gwynn Jr. is an announcer for the Padres. Yeah, and he sounds just like his dad. It's kind of funny.
He does sound just like his dad.
I spent 10 years in San Diego when Tony Gwynn was quite the icon in San Diego, and so he definitely sounds like his dad. So the Giants lost on Tony Gwynn Day. I guess that's apropos. Couple other things, Ben. 30 home runs. We got 3 players that are within.
We got 3 players with 30 home runs already.
That are on pace, ish, to hit whatever. 30 home runs. Ben,
whatever. I thought whatever. It's not going to happen.
Yaz hit his 5th today. It was in the month of April. We have 3 guys that have hit 5 or more home runs in the first month. And if they average that over the 6 months, Ben, then that equals 30 home runs. We have 3 guys. Yeah. It's going to happen, Ben. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Did you just say in the month of April? Did you just say that? Did you just say in the month of April he has 5 home runs?
I did, yes. because there are 6 months.
That's not true.
In the series.
That's not true. That's not true, Matthew. They play baseball in March.
I don't count those. It's
well, they count. Those home runs count.
Did he hit a home run in March though?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's the first sixth of the season, Matthew. It's the first
I know. I did
season.
it just to bug you because I know how much you hate that. But and then but that's not all good news.
No. Oh, you are going to talk about Wilmer in the tidbits section.
No, I'm not going to talk about Wilmer at all.
Oh, but you said it wasn't good news, so I just figured that.
No, Wilmer has 7 home runs, so he's on pace to hit over 30.
Right. Right. Yeah,
but you know
sure.
who's not on pace to hit anything? Well, no, actually Chapman's on pace to hit 30 home runs too, by using my logic. Ben, we have 3 players that are hitting under 200. 2 of them have OPSs under 500, and they're all regulars. And what makes this concerning to me, Ben, is, well, the reason it stood out to me, 2 reasons. One is that we're watching the Padre game, and Padres don't have anybody with batting averages to start with a 1
Nope.
in their lineup.
Not their lineup today. Nobody.
The other thing is the Padres also have several players that are injured, and so some of these guys in their starting lineup would normally just be on their bench. When I look at the last 7 days, when you sort things by like the last 7 days, Ben, only 9 guys show up. like there's like we don't play anybody else. It's just the same 9 guys. We don't have anybody to like just substitute in, you know, to help a struggling player. So
nope.
So Wade and Bailey are just abysmal seasons so far hitting. Wade, though, I think leads the team on hard hit percentage, which I think, or exit velocity, which I think is funny.
That is very funny. That is,
and he's got like a 180 like batting average on balls in play. Like, I mean, it's just like, poor guy. And we talked about this last week, but the numbers really do back that up. Like, it's just like unexplainable. Bailey, you know, just thank goodness he can catch. And then Matt Chapman, you know, we expect more offensively, don't we?
I mean, yes, I expect him to hit around. Although I don't know, the batting averages all over baseball are so low. I don't know what the adjustment should be. But Matty, he hits a little he doesn't hit for average, right? He's below average.
Well, that's true. And we talked about this last year. We were like, hey, if you expect him to hit for average, don't. And we should maybe take our own advice.
And he hits bombs. But the problem is, Matthew, is that he hasn't been good for a few days now. And that really kind of just magnifies everything.
Well, yeah, when your cleanup hitter is like 0 for 8 over the 2 games against the Padres, it kind of is magnified.
So maybe we should talk about the Padres series then.
Let's talk about the Padres. Well, Logan Webb, you kind of expect when you got your ace on the mound that you're going to have a decent chance to win. And then Ben, like the first inning is just all over.
Yeah. No, he got hacked to death. He got the first 2 outs. Everything was fine. And then, was it Tatis or whatever? I don't know. He hit the ball like 108 miles an hour. And he got a legit single. And then the real problem was that Logan walked somebody. But then after that, it was just dinker, doinker. And suddenly they're down like what did it 3-0? Yeah.
And I got to say, like this season, I felt really good even when we were down. Like I just I knew we were going to come back against a team like the Padres. I didn't feel that way. I felt like the game was out of reach already.
It's a little tough knowing that you're facing the best pitching staff in baseball with the number 1 bullpen. So you're like, once we get rid of this Pivetta guy. But then the real problem with them facing Pivetta was that, is that he's been having a really good season, first of all. So he's just been tough on everybody. But then the Giants are the kind of team that gets beaten by a guy named Pivetta. You know what I mean? So it was like a double whammy. It was just like, oh man, they're not going to come back against this guy. But they actually did. They did okay.
They did. They clawed back. Yeah.
They scored 3 runs against him, which he's only given up runs in 2 other games, Matthew.
Oh, really? So he's actually kind of good, huh?
Yeah, well, he's very good. He's been very good. He's not normally good. I don't know what his career stats are, but like normally, I don't think this is anybody that Nick Pavetta. I wanted to call him Norm. He looks like a Norm. Let's see his lifetime stats. His lifetime ERA plus 93. Just the first thing that I looked at. ERA is 4.66. His lifetime win-loss is 61 and 72. He's a journeyman. He's 32
journeyman fifth
years
starter,
old.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Until this year, when his ERA plus is 2.29.
Okay, well, maybe the fish tacos really kind of injected,
or that's the Sculpin. It's the Sculpin beer. But anyway, the point is the Giants put up 3 runs against him. That he's only given up 3 runs in one other game to the Cubs in what was his only bad start, and then he gave up 1 run in one other start. In 3 other starts, he's given up nothing. So the guy has been very, very good. So they did enough. They came back. They got close.
Well, the problem is, and you mentioned it, right? I mean, the Giants have a great bullpen, but the Padres have the number 1 bullpen in the majors, and it's not close. Their ERA is like 1.8 or something like that as a bullpen, and it showed. Man, they were dominant in that game. I mean, the Giants didn't get a lick of a hit in the last 3 innings of that game.
Yeah, well, it was they were 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts in the last 3 innings. So
is that bad, Ben?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's what they did to the comeback kids. The comeback kids were driven out into the wilderness, and nobody ever saw them again. Like the Padres bullpen was as advertised, and let's talk about game 2. Let's talk about your boy.
No, I don't want to talk about game 2. Let's
you don't want to talk about. Let's talk about. I want to talk about Landon Root.
That's why I don't want to talk about it.
He was fine. Okay, he was fine. There was the problem with the Padres was that there's a lot of doinkers and dinkers, a lot of balls landing their way. The real problem was the walks, right? Yeah. I mean, Roop had 3 walks, and he really wasn't fooling anybody today. He didn't fool anybody, especially the big 3. Like,
well, those guys are professional hitters. They're really good. And what I especially find interesting is that you can tell that they have an approach, right? They don't just go up with the same swing against every pitcher. And I just, this whole opposite field approach, waiting on the curveball, those kind of things pay dividends for them. And they, Roop struggled because he wasn't fooling those big guys with his big curveball. And it'll be interesting to see if he can make the adjustment or if the other teams start doing the same thing to him, because it was a good plan that the Padres had against him.
Well, I think if other teams out there can find a way to get Tatis, Arraez, and Machado onto their teams.
Oh, that's a good strategy. Yeah, we should try to do that.
We should. Actually, you know what, Matthew? I think about 2/3 of baseball has no interest in doing that. Right? Like teams like the Pirates and the Athletics.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
There's no desire to do those sorts of things.
I mean, the Giants had an opportunity to get Arraez, but they chose not to, right? So,
right. And then there's the Colorado Rockies, who do spend their money, but somehow they just... I think they spend it all on pot. That's what I think. I think that's what they're spending all their money.
That's probably it.
But... before I really want to take a step back and just kind of look at how the Giants compare to the Padres. But, there's like 2 sides to every coin of this whole, like, is it good pitching or is it bad hitting or vice versa when 2 teams face each other? Like, so I do want to look at the other side of the coin here. But before we do that, I do want to point out some positives. It really does look like Willy Adames has turned the corner. Right. He was 2 for 4 on Tuesday, had the home run that, helped keep them alive in that game. And then on top of that, Lamont Wade Jr. had the huge 2-run double to get the Giants within a run, which was a major hit for him. So both of those guys also had fairly decent games today as we record this podcast. Adames was 0 for 2, but he did have 2 walks. And when a guy's walking, it does start to feel like that's when he's going to start, really hitting. And I think he's already started turned it on. Wade had 3 strikeouts and no walks, which is concerning, but he did at least get another hit, and that's kind of been the thing that just hasn't been happening for him. So hopefully luck is starting to turn his way.
Dude, a 1 for 4 is a 250 batting average, man. I'll take 1 for 4.
That's true. That's what Tony Gwynn used to say. Get a hit a day, and then the rest will come. And that's how you become one of the all-time great hitters in baseball. It's that easy.
That easy.
It's that easy. Yeah. So that was the positive on the offensive side, Matthew. But I do want to point out that a couple of key players didn't have a good series.
You don't need to point it
out. Matthew, do you like the hats? Are you a big fan of the sombreros?
Not necessarily.
Do you like fancy sombreros? Maybe ones that are gold? No, you don't like gold. You don't like a gold. You know what? You look like a platinum kind of guy.
I do. I do look like a platinum kind of guy.
You look like a platinum kind of guy. And you know what? One of your favorite guys did something that was platinum-like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. On Tuesday, your guy, Will Flo, was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
That's a rough day at the plate, man.
That is what they call the platinum sombrero. And, but, he only had 1 sombrero this over this series. Matt Chapman was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And then he was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And no, I didn't stutter.
So he had a rough series too.
He had a rough series. They did not look good at the plate. And then today, the Giants overall had 12 strikeouts.
Problem is they got a day off.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, you get a little rusty. You don't play for a while.
That's what it was. That's what it was. They the day off. The day off ruined them. You know what I think it might have been. They could blame it. They could say they were tired. Right? They're still tired from that really long stretch of games without a break.
I bet you they were all like sunning on the beach of Coronado on Monday and got a little heat stroke. Right. Maybe
that's what they all and they.
I mean, Lou Trevino was doing laundry in your laundry room, but everybody else was on the beach.
Right. And ironically, he was probably the best rested, and he didn't pitch. No, he did pitch on Tuesday, a scoreless inning. See, he was fine.
Yeah, and he smelled good too.
He did smell good. All right. So that's what happened in the micro, Matthew. But now that the Giants have finally faced off against one of their big National League West rivals, a team that a lot of people picked to be not good. A lot of people said the Padres were going to be mediocre. And
I may have said that.
Slightly better than the Giants. I said they were going to be worse than the Giants. I got on that bandwagon.
I did too.
Because Bob, what do the Padres usually do?
The Padres are gonna Padre.
That's right. And Bob, what are the Padres going to do?
The Padres are gonna Padre.
Bob, I don't feel that way anymore. Bob, I don't feel that way anymore, and here's why, buddy. After seeing the Giants face the Padres, I think that the Padres they definitely have the better starting pitching. That is clear. When Nick Pivetta is out, God, was it even a duel? Was it even a duel against Logan Webb? When Nick Pivetta is dominating Logan Webb.
He didn't dominate Logan Webb. He dominated the Giants while Logan Webb was...
Whatever. It was Webb v. Pivetta, and Pivetta won.
He did.
Handily. So, my point is that the starting pitching looks a lot better. Our bullpen is pretty good, but their bullpen is better. And when it comes to the lineup, I don't think there's any contest. It's not even close. It's not even close.
I mean, they've got players that you actually fear when they come up. I don't think the Giants have anybody that's like really scary. Like
no. The one guy that we have that gets everybody excited, they're happy to see him come to the plate.
Chung-Hoo Lee. When he's getting chance, even down in San Diego, it's pretty awesome.
No, those are mostly Giants fans. Half the fans there are Giants fans.
So you're saying though that you're recanting your previous thing. You think the Padres are a better team than the Giants?
That's because I was listening to all the pundits and going by the all the computers with their predictions. And I know better than that. I know better than to listen to all those fools. I watched those guys play baseball against my baseball team, and it was pretty clear to me, Matthew, that the San Diego Padres are vastly better than the Giants.
I hate that the Padres are good.
Oh, Bob. Me too, buddy. Me too. But like, it didn't look good. It didn't look close. It didn't look like, I didn't like think that this is going to be like, oh, the nip and tuck battle that I was thinking it was going to be, or lamenting that it was going to be 2 episodes ago. Like, no, the Padres are vastly superior to the Giants.
Agreed. Reluctantly. At least for these 2 games, they certainly looked it, and obviously they've looked really good at the beginning of the season. So not just to the Giants, and yeah. So, but Giants doesn't mean we're out of it. It just means we've got to play better, and the guys gotta step up when they play these good teams. Okay, well, probably time to get into segment 2. Ben, and this comes from, I was researching a little bit. We've been kind of hard on the starters. Listening to our episodes, and then I'm listening to the other podcasters, and they're all talking about how the Giants starting rotation is a strength, and yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, maybe we've been too hard on them, and I texted you that, and you were like, yeah, we've eased up on them the last couple of days or last couple of episodes, but yeah, they're okay. And so I started to look for supporting evidence, of that. And so I pulled up the old internet. Ooh. And I started to, look on the fan site, and the stat fan site, and the fan head, and the savant head site. Yes, mm-hmm. Exactly. And started like, okay, let's support our argument that the starters are good. And the first stat I just stumbled upon suggested, yes, they're good. The Giants starters are second in the majors in strikeouts.
Boom.
And so I was like, well, there you go. They strike everybody out.
That's the one thing that you want to do in baseball is strike the other guy out, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I was like, but then the opposite of that is walks, right? So they, what do they do in walks? Well, they're 5th in walks.
Well, that's good. They're 5th in walks. So there you go. 2nd in the strikeouts, 5th in walks.
I mean, they've given up the 5th most walks.
Oh.
In baseball.
You see, Matthew, I would have gone with, okay, right. Okay, I would have gone. See, now I feel like I would have said 26.
Yeah, I understand. I should have said like 22nd or whatever, 20, whatever, how many times? 26? How many teams are there? I don't know.
There's 30. There's
just
30.
one in my book. Just one in my book. But okay, there's other teams. I know. So and then so I went even more. I was like, okay, well, let's look at some other ones. Opponent batting average, right? I mean, let's see how they dominate. Do they dominate against? They're 20. Using your logic, they're 24th in opponent batting average.
Right. So they're
okay.
So 23 teams are better than them, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but it's not the worst.
No. And so I kept looking, and I found another stat that maybe supports that they're okay. They're the 5th best team in allowing home runs.
Well, there you go. You want to strike out a lot of guys, and you don't want to give up home runs, and that's how you win baseball.
Exactly. And then I'm like, okay, well, so then I found another one that maybe supports that they're good. They're 7th in inducing grounding into double plays.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, right. Because if a guy gets on, then one pitch you get 2 outs. That's a good thing.
They appear to be because as you said, they're 5th best at walking guys. Like, so they're better at walking guys than 25 other teams. So the grounded into double plays is good. It's all working into their plan. That's how they drew it up.
Exactly. That's how they drew it up. Strike them out, and if they happen to get somebody on, then you get a double play. So that's so I'm like, okay, all right,
nice.
And so and I'm happy.
Okay.
The starters are good, Ben.
Okay.
I mean, they're okay. You're right. Use your word.
Okay, I was agreeing with you. I wasn't saying that they're okay. I was saying that they're good.
They're okay.
Yeah. Well, now that you put it that way, I will agree that they're okay. except for a couple of things, Matthew. There was one stat that I see in our notes here that you glossed over.
Oh, I did. Yes.
And
The old ERA.
Yeah.
The old ERA.
Yeah. How's that one?
They're 21st with a 4.35 ERA.
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean, that's
because that's an old stat.
Yeah,
Nobody
cares
pays attention to that
nobody
stat.
cares about how many runs you give up. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No.
That's ridiculous.
That's
They're
an old
second in
stat. That's an old
strikeouts.
stat.
It doesn't matter how many runs they've given up. That's ridiculous.
That's right.
That's ridiculous. Well, that's interesting, Matthew. I mean, I think what you've proven is that they're not the worst. The Giants' starting pitching is not the worst, but the one thing that they're really good at is going long. They go a lot of innings.
Which there was a brief stretch in there where they weren't. So I still have that ingrained in my head that they just that they're burning out the bullpen and all that, but they're not. Yeah, their guys are going 5+.
Yeah, well, and that's good because like the one thing that you want when you have something that's mediocre, Matthew, is you want a lot of it.
Well, in baseball, sometimes that can be a good thing.
True. It's ironically, that is true. That is true. It's sort of like Logan Webb traditionally doesn't strike out a lot of guys, and his batting average on balls in play is pretty high. And so you're like, how is this guy good? And it's because he doesn't give up extra base hits. And so eventually the outs come, and he gets out of it, and that's why Logan Webb is good. It's all in the aggregate. See, so like that. This is how they pitch. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Except.
What do you mean except?
Well, Matthew, I did a bunch of research too. And you're the optimist,
okay.
So I figured you were going to come in here with all this Pollyanna information, and I get it. Maybe you did.
I tried, man. I tried. That was it. That was the Pollyanna information.
You did the best you could. Oh,
yes, that's right. Second in strikeouts, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
So I may have sounded something really bad, but it might also just be a dark mystery. I don't know what to do with this, but I'm just going to present it here to you and to our listeners for everybody to just sort of ponder. But here's the thing about our San Francisco Giants starting pitching. They have an Achilles heel. There is something that they really, really suck at.
What's that?
The first inning. The San Francisco starting pitchers suck in the first inning. It is really bad, Matthew. It is really, really bad.
How bad is it?
Well, first of all, they're last in runs allowed in the first inning with 23.
Well, that's not good.
No. And they're last in hits allowed with 41.
That's not good either.
Hey, they're not last in ERA, Matthew. Their 6.9 first inning ERA is 27th. They're tied for 26th, which is worse than what you said. Oh, no, it's the same. It's the same. They're 26th worst at walking people in the first inning.
Huh.
They are last in opponent batting average with a 328 in the first inning. They are last in opponent on-base percentage with a 404 in the first inning.
So 40% of all batters in the first inning get on base.
Against our starting pitching. Yes. But there's good news, Matthew.
Okay.
They're first in strikeouts with 39.
Oh yes. That's the game's all about, Ben. Striking them
right.
out.
And it's a good thing they're all old men who can just go for a really long time because they walk and strike out a lot of dudes. Their whip, Matthew, which is walks and hits per inning in the first inning, is 1.93.
Which is
awful. That's awful.
okay.
1.2 is like average, and anything below that starts to be good. But here's the thing, Matthew. And this is where the mystery comes in. Because there is a stat called BABIP, and you may have heard me complain about this in the past, but now I'm going to use it in the Giants' favor. It is the batting average for balls in play. This is something that the team cannot control. The Giants are, of course, dead last in this record. Their BABIP in the first inning for the starting pitching is 448. Nearly half of the balls hit into play in the first inning land for a hit. 29th is 385, Matthew. 448 is where the Giants are. Okay, but here's the thing. What does that mean? Well, it means that the Giants are either unlucky or they have bad defense or something else is going on. And I'm going to give you some other stats, Matthew, about how they perform in all other innings. Remember, I said they were last in runs allowed in the first inning. Well, they're 15th in all other innings. Again, this is just the starting pitchers. They were last in hits. They're 12th in all other innings. They were 27th in ERA, but they were 17th in all other innings. They were 26th in walks, but they are 22nd in all other innings. They were last in opponent batting average, but they are 17th in all other innings. They're last in on-base percentage, but they are 18th in all other innings. They're last in whip in the first inning, but they're 19th in all other innings. And remember that BABIP? Well, yeah, it's 299 in all other innings, which is still 24th. It's still not good. It's still not good.
But it's not 448.
But it's not 440. It's not 448. And to top all of that off, Matthew, the Giants' fielding independent pitching, which is a stat to measure how they should be performing, regardless with taking out defense and other things they can't control, similar to BABIP, is 3.15. You can kind of think of that as what their ERA should be in that inning. And their expected fielding independent pitching is 365. So they're actually performing better in this stat in the first inning. Not only in the first are they performing better in the first inning compared to their expected FIP, but they're also performing better in the first inning than their FIP in all other innings, which is 355. So somehow
baseball makes no sense.
They're better in the first inning, but they're way worse. Like, I don't know what's happening here, Matthew. It all makes no sense. Like, okay, so the one possibility is it could be bad defense, but they're only playing bad defense in the first inning? Like, is that, I don't.
What the one thing that I'm going to point to, and you kind of alluded to it in your notes, is that they walk too many dudes. And when you give up free passes, then any other thing happens badly.
That's the only takeaway we can take from this. Because yes, when they walk guys, they make everything worse. These stats are confounding. Like, it just doesn't make any sense as to why the Giants starting pitching is so bad in the first inning. Because the stats the expected stats don't match reality. And all of the other innings that they pitch in don't match the first inning. So it's like within every game, this is an anomaly. Like, remember the Jordan Hicks start in Philadelphia? Yeah. That is how the Giants starters have been all season.
Right.
That game was a microcosm.
I have a solution.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Eric Miller starts every game. We have an opener for the rest of the season.
I mean, we need to do something to break this curse.
You guys were pissed about the opener. All you fans. It sounds like we need somebody to come in and get those first couple guys out.
I have a theory.
What's that?
It's the purple pushovers.
Oh. It's the curse of the purple pushovers.
That's right. They curse the Giants starters in the first inning. That's it. That's my guess. That's my guess. Because otherwise, Matthew, this makes no sense. It makes no sense.
All right. Well, we will keep tabs of this to see if the numbers tend to work themselves out. Right? That's what you always say, Ben. The numbers tend to work themselves out.
Do they? No, they don't. They don't have to work themselves out.
This is what I'm saying. Probability, Ben, doesn't, just because we know that they are not that bad, so eventually they'll be okay.
No, Matthew, you can roll a nat 1 30 times in a row. That's a Dungeons and Dragons reference. There's a dice with 20 sides on it. When you roll a 1, it's called a nat 1. It's like really bad. And yes, you can do that. Is it rare? Of course it is. But it happens. So yep. No, there's nothing that says this has to turn around.
We could look back on this in years later and be like, man, remember the first inning of the Giants in 2025?
Yeah, and we say things like that all the time. Matthew, do you remember how the Giants went all those years without having a single guy hit 30 home runs? But they won 3 World Series?
Right. Remember that time the Giants led the majors in home runs and didn't have one guy hit 30?
Yeah. Remember that time when they had that prospect that they traded away to the Pirates, and then he just disappeared, and then he went off to Japan, and then he came back and he was a World Series hero?
All that stuff happens.
That stuff happens, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
All right, well, we'd have no explanation for it, but you know what could get you healthy, Ben?
I do know it could get me healthy. Yes.
Is playing the Colorado Rockies.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Lucky for us, the Colorado Rockies are coming to town. So maybe by Sunday, Bob will be back into his vibes mode, and we'll all be smiling. If not, I'm having a double hotel old fashioned.
If they don't go 3-1, no, if they don't sweep this series, it's a huge letdown. It's a huge letdown. This is one of the worst teams. I mean, I thought I saw one of the worst teams last year, and I did. I saw the worst team in the modern era. I saw the worst team since there was a team owned by owners who owned 2 teams and put all of their good players on one of them. Only that team is worse than what the White Sox did last year.
And the Rockies are like, hold my beer.
I think the Rockies are worse than the Cleveland Spiders. And
certainly looks that way.
Here's the thing. I think those people are really trying to put together a good team. I really do think they are.
Well, they signed Tyro Estrada, so that's probably,
Wait, how's that working out? Is he even playing for them? How's that going?
I have no idea. I just was like, when they signed him, I was like, okay, that's going to be their starting second baseman. All right.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Yes, Bob. It is definitely time for the booze as we wrap this up.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Well, Bob, I'm at a work conference in St. Louis. I had to fly here. I didn't have any plans. I thought maybe I might grab something from a liquor store and do something, but I've been in a conference and there's not any liquor stores nearby. Like the closest one's like half a mile away, and I wasn't going to walk, wasn't going to take an Uber. So anyway, I did snag a bottle of bourbon from the airplane. So I'm doing an a hotel room old fashioned. So what is in it? It's got 1 airplane bottle full of bourbon. It's like what, 1.5 ounces, maybe 2 ounces. I don't think it's in 2 ounces. I don't know. But then I have 3 packs of sugar from the hotel room coffee little thing that I got, a little Keurig thing going on in there. And then I brewed a little bit of that coffee, but not a lot. I just put in a little bit of water and brewed it in, and I made a really strong coffee. And then I poured the sugar in that and gave it a little stir, and then I dumped that into a rocks glass with ice. And they actually have rocks glasses in the hotel room. And then I poured the bourbon on top, gave it a good stir, and it's barely drinkable. But that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. A hotel old fashioned.
I'm not gonna lie, that cocktail sucked.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah.
I agree.
It sounds pretty bad, Bob.
I needed a drink, though. I needed a drink after they lost 2 to the Padres. So this is what you got.
Yeah, you should have stolen more.
I should say I did steal. I paid for it.
Oh,
I paid for it.
Whatever.
But,
whatever. I'm saying you should have stolen more.
I should have. I guess so.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Bob, today I am drinking a San Diego Margarita. What's in a San Diego Margarita? Well, Bob, it has 2 ounces of Blanco Tequila, 1/2 ounce of Curacao, 3/4 ounce of lime juice. I'm pretty sure I put in more than that, and I regret it. And you put all of that into a shaker with ice, and you shake it until it's well chilled, and then you strain that into a rocks glass with fresh ice. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just a normal margarita? And the answer is yes, except you don't put salt on the rim because they don't have anything to be salty about. And I'm salty about that. And that's what I'm drinking, Bob, the San Diego Margarita.
That's a tasty cocktail.
That's because it's just a margarita, dude. It's just a margarita.
I like the salt. I like saltiness.
The salt is good too, and I kind of wish I'd put some agave syrup in here, or even just some sugar or simple syrup, but I didn't. Oh, by the way, Tyro Estrada broke his wrist. He had sometime in mid-March, and he's out 4 to 8 weeks.
Oh, well, that's why they're sucking so bad. They don't have
from
Tyro Estrada.
Yeah. So that's why it's the curse of Tyro Estrada. And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. We will be back on Monday to celebrate the Giants' 4-game sweep of the Tyro Estrada-less Colorado Rockies. If you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to reach out to us on the social medias or just leave us a review or just like a comment on YouTube to be like, hey guys, just checking in. Are you all right? You know, you just...
Nobody asks or asks how we are.
Yeah, and like nobody, like, you know, don't call your mother. Leave us a comment on YouTube. You can also find us in Zuckland or all the other social media networks that people usually are, where we go by the name Giant Cocktails. If you can't find Giant Cocktails, we're not there. And also, besides commenting, you can like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Matthew said you could also get notified when we go live. I don't know what happened to him in the last episode. It was like he went AI. All of a sudden he just started spouting out AI script. But the thing is, Matthew's not AI. He's like a real human being. We never go live on YouTube, folks. I don't know why he said that.
I meant when we publish. Okay,
okay, all right.
When we publish, you get a little notification bell. Hit that bell, and it'll tell you when we publish.
That is true, but did you know that going live on YouTube is a thing? That's a real thing.
It is a thing. I just misspoke. I'm old and drunk.
Yeah.
You know, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just too many hotel room old fashions for you. But most importantly, leave us a positive review. Although I don't know why you would.
Maybe you gotta laugh. Maybe it's funny.
It's funny. It's funny. That is the point of the show, folks. In case you didn't know, the point of the show is to laugh. Anyway, do that at your podcasting platform of choice, which is probably Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Matthew, it was great talking the San Francisco Giants with you today. You were very Padre. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Ouch. Cheers, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
No, it means you were good.
Still, it feels like an insult. It feels like an insult. Yeah, you were really Dodger today. How about that?
Yeah, I was really Dodger.
Huh? Does that feel good? I still call you.
It was very Shohei Ohtani.
It's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, you're right. It doesn't feel good. I'm sorry.
That's right. Okay. Thank you. Apology accepted.
Yeah. They really are better than the Giants, so I don't know how there's any other way to take that series.
Well, for 2 games they were.
Yeah.
We're gonna get better, Ben.
That's right.
We're gonna get better.
That's right.
Because nobody can get hurt. Nobody can get hurt. Nobody. Please.
Stop talking about it.
Don't get hurt.
Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. That's the one thing we can't talk about anymore. Like, I know that's all I talked about during spring training, and Ben was like, oh, they're not deep enough. Shut up, Ben. Like, shut your dirty hole, you old man.
Baseball guys might hear you.
Right? Like, I didn't know they were going to be good, Matthew. If I knew they were going to be good, I would have never said anything. God, now it's like the biggest fear. Oh, my God. This true story. And I know we're going like to whatever. True story. I woke up this morning. I look at MLB.com, and like the 4th thing down, wherever they stick in, like, you know, because I'm logged in and they know I'm a Giants fan, they insert the Giants stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that they inserted was not Maria's latest article. It was the injuries and roster update. And I saw it there, and I immediately panicked. Like
Yeah.
immediately. Like I couldn't click. I had to click 3 times just to get into the story. And there was nothing new in there.
Yeah, it was Tom Murphy still rehabbing from his back injury.
Stupid algorithm. I mean, like, God, I nearly died.
Casey Schmidt's like, hey, I'm doing all right, Ben. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a Casey Schmidt update. Hey, still hurt. He's still not going to be back until late May. Just checking in.
Didn't mean to give you a heart attack.
Hadar? Yeah. Hadar? Still broken. You know, Tom Murphy, still old.
Still old. Yeah.